The wind howls across the empty highlands. A single figure stands against the dawn, tears mixing with the rain. You can almost hear her whisper, "Come back to me." This isn't just another goodbye. This is the moment Outlander breaks our hearts all over again. For years, Jamie and Claire's love has survived centuries, wars, and fate itself. But in Season 8, destiny demands one final sacrifice, and this is the moment that changes everything. The episode begins quietly. It's almost too quietly, like the air right before thunder. The camera drifts across the Scottish landscape, mist curling over the hills. The sound of distant birds, the slow rhythm of hooves on damp earth. There's peace here, but it feels fragile, like glass waiting to shatter. Claire walks through the camp in silence. Her eyes carry the weight of everything she's lost and everything she still hopes to save. The morning light touches her face softly, but her hands tremble as she holds Jamie's scarf. You can tell she already feels it. Something is coming. Something she can't stop. Jamie, ever the warrior and husband, stands nearby, his back straight, his gaze on the horizon. He doesn't say much, but in the small things, the way he adjusts his sword, the way he watches her, you see it. Love, fear, and a quiet knowing. It's that wordless kind of love that says, "I would die for you." The sound design in this moment is hauntingly beautiful. The music barely whispers, a few soft notes on a violin blending with the wind. You almost hold your breath, waiting for someone to speak. But they don't, because in Outlander, silence often says more than words ever could. As Claire walks up to Jamie, the world seems to slow down. She brushes her fingers against his arm, and for a second, everything feels safe. Like maybe, just maybe, they'll make it through this too. But Jamie's eyes flicker with that look we've seen before, the look of a man who's already accepted what's to come. He finally says, quietly, "If I could change the stars, Sassenach, I would." It's not just a line, it's a farewell disguised as love. Claire forces a smile, but you can see the truth in her eyes. She already knows. This might be their last sunrise together. Then comes the most powerful visual. The camera pans out slowly, showing the two of them standing alone against the vastness of the highlands. Just two souls caught in the middle of time, fighting a battle they can't win. That's the genius of Outlander. It gives you peace for a moment, not to comfort you, but to make the heartbreak hit harder when it finally comes. This scene isn't loud, it isn't tragic yet, but you can feel the storm building. And every quiet second makes you ache for what's about to happen. Because when love is this strong, loss isn't far behind. And in Season 8, that loss is closer than ever. Time in Outlander has never been a friend. It's a thief. Stealing moments of joy and leaving behind the ache of what could have been. In Season 8, time becomes their final enemy. Every tick of the clock feels heavier, like the world itself is counting down to a loss neither Jamie nor Claire can escape. As the sun climbs higher, Jamie walks through the quiet forest. His hand brushes over the bark of an old oak, the same one where he once carved their initials years ago. The letters are faded now, almost lost to the weather, and that alone says everything. Nothing stays untouched by time, not even love that's fought through centuries. The narration could almost whisper, he's been a soldier, lover, a ghost of two worlds. But now, he is just a man trying to hold on to what time is trying to take away. Claire's voice breaks the silence, calling his name. She's holding a letter, one that carries news too heavy to read aloud. Her hands shake as she passes it to him. Jamie doesn't read it right away. He just studies her face, like he's trying to memorize every detail, the way her hair moves in the wind. The tiny scar near her lip, the eyes that have always looked at him like home. When he finally unfolds the paper, the wind almost tears it away, a perfect metaphor for everything they're about to lose. The contents are simple, yet devastating. A message from Brianna. A message from another time. A message that tells them what's coming can't be stopped. The camera lingers on Jamie's face as the words sink in. There's no music now, just the sound of his breath catching and the faint rustle of leaves. Claire steps closer, her voice soft but firm. Whatever happens, we face it together. He nods, but his eyes betray him. They're filled with that quiet terror, The kind that only comes when you know destiny's already written your ending. Then, without warning, thunder rolls across the sky. Not a storm yet, just a promise of one. The world around them darkens, and the soft gold of morning turns cold. It's as if nature itself feels their pain. Jamie looks up, almost challenging the heavens. You can see years of love, loss, and defiance in that one look. He's not angry, just heartbroken at how fate always finds them. And in that moment, you understand. The war they're fighting isn't against soldiers or time travel, it's against destiny itself. The narration returns. Low and haunting, every love story has its fate, but theirs was written across centuries, carved into time itself, and time never forgets a debt. As the wind swirls around them, Claire takes Jamie's hand. Their fingers interlace a fragile bridge between the past and the future. It's a simple gesture, yet it carries the full weight of 8 seasons of love, sacrifice, and hope. The screen fades slowly to black as their hands tighten. A single violin note lingers, echoing like a heartbeat fading into silence. And just before the cut, Claire whispers, almost too quietly to hear, "If we must fall, let it be together." It happens so suddenly, yet it feels like the world has been moving toward this moment forever. The wind dies. The forest stands still. Even the birds seem to know what's about to happen. There's a silence that doesn't feel empty. It feels heavy, alive, like the air itself is holding its breath. Jamie and Claire are standing on opposite sides of the field now, a sea of soldiers between them. The red and gray of 2 worlds colliding. He gives one last look, not of fear, not even of regret, but of acceptance. That's the part that breaks you. Jamie Fraser, the man who fought fate and time itself, is finally still. The camera moves slowly across the battlefield. Blades gleam, banners shake, faces blur in smoke. But through all the chaos, the only thing that feels real is them. Claire's hand tightens around the small pendant he gave her years ago. Her lips move silently, not a prayer, not a cry, just his name. The narration whispers, every story has a moment where everything breaks. For them, it wasn't death. It was distance. The first cannon sounds, and the ground trembles. Jamie charges forward, not because he wants to fight, but because he has to. His promise to protect her, to protect their world, has always been his curse. Claire watches from the ridge, her heart in her throat, knowing that if she runs to him, she may never return. Time slows. The sound fades. We see flashes his hand on her face from seasons ago. Her laughter echoing through Lelybrock, their last night under the stars. Every memory they've shared folds into this single heartbeat. Then it happens. A gunshot. A scream swallowed by thunder. Claire's world narrows to one single frame, Jamie falling to his knees. The camera doesn't rush. It lingers painfully still as she runs toward him. Her voice breaks through the storm, calling his name again and again, each cry weaker than the last. When she finally reaches him, there's no music. Just the sound of rain hitting mud and her trembling breath. Jamie looks up, blood and rain mixing on his face. He tries to smile, that soft, crooked smile he's always had when trying to comfort her. "Dinna cry, Sassenach," he whispers, voice shaking. "You'll see me again. It's not a goodbye. It's a promise." The kind Outlander fans know too well, love that refuses to end, even when time says it must. Claire holds him close, refusing to let go. Around them, the battle fades into silence. Like the world is bowing its head. The narration breaks the quiet, low and aching. For 8 seasons, they've defied fate. But in this moment, fate wins. As the scene fades to black, we hear only one last sound. Claire's voice. It's whispering through the darkness. "Then I'll find you, no matter the century." There's no music now, only the soft hum of the wind and the broken rhythm of Claire's breathing. The world has gone quiet, like it too is mourning. Smoke drifts across the field and everything is painted in shades of gray. This isn't a battlefield anymore. It's a graveyard of promises. Claire kneels beside Jamie, her hands trembling, as she tries to stop the bleeding that won't stop. Every touch feels desperate, every heartbeat a plea. You can see it in her eyes, that fight between denial and truth. She's healed men on death's door before, pulled them back from the edge with her strength and skill. But this time, it's different. This time, the healer is powerless. She whispers his name again and again, as if saying it could keep him here. "Jamie, look at me. Please, just look at me." Her voice cracks on the last word. And that crack feels like it runs through the entire series, through every moment they've shared, every vow they've made. Every time they found each other after being torn apart, Jamie's hand finds hers, weak but steady. His eyes, half open, glimmer with that fierce love that's never left him. He tries to speak, but the words come out soft, almost swallowed by the rain. "Dinna cry, Claire. It was always ye. Always will be." The camera moves closer, not to his wound, not to the chaos, but to their hands. Fingers intertwined, knuckles pale, blood mixing. The narration returns, low and fragile. Love isn't always loud. Sometimes it breaks in whispers, in the spaces between heartbeats, in the seconds before goodbye. Claire's tears fall onto his face, and for a moment he smiles. That small, almost invisible smile that says he's at peace. Then, slowly, his eyes close. But what makes this scene so devastating isn't just his fall, it's what happens after. Claire doesn't scream. She doesn't collapse. She simply sits there, her hand still holding his, as if refusing to believe time has taken him again. Her face is blank, her heart clearly broken. But there's a strange calm that settles over her, the kind that comes when grief is too deep for sound. The sky opens up, thunder rolling far in the distance. The rain grows heavier, washing over them both. It's as if nature itself is trying to cleanse the pain, but the ache remains. The camera pulls back, showing her small figure kneeling beside the man who once changed. History for her. The narration whispers again. This isn't just loss. It's the universe reminding her that love has a cost, and she's paid it in every lifetime. As the frame fades into soft gray, the violin returns, slow, mournful. The same melody that played in their wedding scene years ago. It's a cruel echo, turning what was once joy into a memory soaked in sorrow. And in the final second of this scene, Claire lifts her head toward the horizon, her voice barely audible. "You promised me time wouldn't keep us apart." Her words hang in the air, unanswered as the storm rages on. The days after feel like years. Time no longer moves forward. It just circles around her, dragging her through the same memories, again and again. The war may be over, but inside Claire, it still rages on. Every corner of Lallybroch, every gust of Highland wind carries a whisper of him. Jamie Fraser may be gone, but he's everywhere. The camera drifts through empty rooms, his coat still hanging by the door, sword leaning where he left it, the imprint of his boots fading in the mud outside. The silence in these spaces is suffocating. You almost expect to hear his voice calling her name from another room. That gentle Sassenach echoing in the air, but it never comes. Claire moves like someone caught between worlds again. But not through time, through grief. She touches the things he once held, the scarf, the letters, the photographs. Each object becomes a piece of him, a lifeline she refuses to let go of. She's not trying to remember him. She's trying to keep him alive. Through the rhythm of her days, the narration cuts softly through the silence. Love doesn't end when the heart stops beating. It lingers in memories, in echoes, in the quiet spaces between breaths. She begins to write. Not in her medical journals this time, but in letters to Jamie, the kind he'll never read. The kind that only the wind will carry. Her voice reads them aloud over slow, haunting visuals of the Highlands. The sun rose without you again. I still wait for your shadow to cross the door. I still listen for your footsteps. You promised me time wouldn't win. Maybe it hasn't. Maybe I just haven't found where you are yet. The scene transitions to her walking along the cliffs overlooking the sea. The waves crash violently below. Same place they once stood together and swore that no force, not time, not war, would break them. Now she stands alone, hair whipping in the wind, but there's no despair in her eyes anymore. Just a quiet strength, the kind born from loving someone beyond the reach of life itself. Then, in a moment that feels almost supernatural, the wind shifts. The faintest whisper, his voice, soft, distant, says her name. Not loud enough to be real, but enough to make her heart stutter. She closes her eyes. For the first time since that day, she smiles. The narration returns, wrapping the moment in a sense of ethereal calm. Some love stories never die. They just change form. His body may have fallen, but his love, his promise, became part of the world around her. The wind, the rain, the fire that never goes out. The music swells, not with sadness, but with something gentler, a melody of remembrance, of hope. The camera pans up, showing the vast Scottish horizon, golden light breaking through the clouds. Claire whispers one last line, her voice steady now. If love can cross centuries, it can find its way back again. Fade to black. It starts with a dream, or maybe something more. Claire can't tell the difference anymore. She's sitting by the fire, the same one they built together on their last night at Fraser's Ridge. The flames crackle softly. And for the first time in weeks, the ache in her chest isn't sharp. It's softer now, almost like a heartbeat against her own. Then she hears it. Not a voice, not a sound, just the feeling of him. That strange pull in her soul that always told her when he was near. It's faint but real, like a thread tugging at the edges of her reality. She closes her eyes, and in that instant, she's not in the cottage anymore. She's somewhere else, somewhere familiar. Somewhere that smells of heather and rain. The camera follows her as she walks through the mist. The landscape is endless, painted in silver light. And there he is, Jamie, standing at the edge of the moor, dressed in the same clothes he wore the first time she saw him. His hair catches the wind, his eyes locked on hers. He smiles, not the smile of the living, but of someone who's been waiting. The narration breaks softly, trembling with emotion. Some promises don't fade with time. They bend it. Claire reaches out a hand. She knows this isn't real, not in the way the world defines real, but it doesn't matter. For her, this is truth. The kind that exists between heartbeats, between centuries. The space where love goes when the body is gone. Jamie speaks, his voice gentle, almost part of the wind. The sea, Sassenach. I told thee I'd find ye. Even death can't make me a liar. Tears fill her eyes, but she smiles. Truly smiles for the first time since that day. He steps closer, and though she can't touch him, the warmth radiating from him feels familiar, grounding. For a brief, impossible moment, the world stops. The camera circles around them, their figures framed against the rolling highland mist. She whispers, "Is this heaven?" He shakes his head slightly, that same teasing look he's always had. "Nay, it's just us. Always us." The scene shimmers with ethereal light, not bright, but golden and soft, as if time itself is bowing to their love. The narration continues. When love is written into the fabric of time, it doesn't end. It rewrites the universe to bring two souls back together. Then, as suddenly as he appeared, he fades. Not in sadness, but in peace. The wind carries his words one last time. Find me again. Claire wakes up with tears on her cheeks, the fire still burning low. She looks down at her hands, and there, resting in her palm, is something impossible. Jamie's wedding ring. Warm as if it had never left his skin. The camera lingers on her face. The disbelief, the hope, the spark that returns to her eyes. The narration whispers, "Love never leaves us. It waits." Until the heart is brave enough to believe again. Claire closes her fist around the ring, the faintest smile curling her lips. The violin theme swells again, but this time, it isn't mournful. It's full of promise, and as the camera fades out, we hear her voice, steady and sure. "If you're still out there, Jamie, I'm coming for you." The fire flares, the screen fades to black, and we know the story isn't over. The screen fades in slowly, soft golden light spilling over the highlands. The war is long over, the world quiet again. But even in that silence, something lingers. You can feel it, that invisible pulse. It's that echo that's been there since the beginning. Love. It's changed shape, crossed centuries, broken rules that even time obeys. And now, it feels like it's leading her somewhere new. Claire stands at the edge of Cray. Nah, done. The stones towering like ancient sentinels, humming faintly beneath the wind. It's where her story began, and where every goodbye has always found its way back. Her hair dances wildly in the breeze, and her eyes, those eyes that once looked at the future with fear, now carry only one thing: faith. The camera drifts closer, catching the small details, the ring still glinting on her hand, the scarf wrapped around her neck, the tears she doesn't bother to hide. The narration begins softly. Some say love dies when time moves on, but love like theirs doesn't fade. It transforms. It waits. It watches. And when the world forgets, it remembers. She steps closer to the stones. The wind rises not harshly, but like a welcome. You can almost hear his voice carried through it, faint but certain. Claire. Her breath catches. The air trembles around her. It's the same way it did all those years ago when she first crossed time. She smiles, not out of pain, but peace. "I've kept my promise," she whispers. "Now it's your turn." The sound of the stones grows louder, vibrating through the air like a heartbeat. Her hair whips around her face, the sky flashing with sudden light. The camera closes in on her hand, the ring glowing faintly, the wind swirling faster. She takes one final step forward, her eyes never leaving the horizon. Then everything slows. The light swells until the frame dissolves into white, and from that light to silhouettes form. Claire and Jamie, standing face to face once more. No time, no war, no loss, just them, together. He reaches out, brushing his fingers along her cheek. "Took the long enough, Sassenach," he says, with that familiar grin. She laughs through tears, answering softly, "You knew I'd find my way." The narration returns, gentle, reverent, final. Outlander has never been a story about time travel. It's been a story about love, the kind that doesn't end when the heart stops.